Ladies and gentlemen, I've been under extreme duress here in Kirkland Lake for quite a while now. Myself and my family. I've been put in a situation where my family has completely dissolved. They have driven wedges in between me and everybody that I care about and love. They have taken my rights away as a human being by diagnosing me with bipolar disorder with audio hallucinations when I know that audio hallucinations are not real. I have done a tremendous amount of research, and because of these situations at hand that are currently still unattended to, I have found out that the mental health industry is a farce, that it has been planned to deceive us all along, that even schizophrenia and the worst of mental illnesses may be all planned. This has been going on for years and years. The field of psychiatry is playing a big hoax on us, and for years the services that we have depended on the most to hold our communities and our towns and cities together and to take care of our citizens have been the ones that have perpetrated all along. Our police services, our cmha services, our CSA services, our fire departments, and of course industry have all been working together to create mental illness in our communities, to destroy the minds of young people here in Canada, to destroy the minds of the children of the future of Canada. We have given many professional jobs away, and we have worked very hard to dampen the thought process, to dampen the education and the knowledge that they should be able to acquire in order to be able to facilitate these professional positions within our country. We're at a point right now in history where we need to make a huge decision. I'm not up to par completely on our political arena at this time, but my research has pointed in a direction that I am just appalled at. Climate change is something that they have been telling us took place. It started in the early 1930s, but in the 1960s, the warming effect of carbon dioxide gases became increasingly and convincingly, some researchers say, also pointed out that the human effect of this carbon dioxide emission was causing the globe to warm. I think that we've been lied to. I think that that if you look at the evidence, if you look at our glaciers, they're black. They're black with rubber. The first tires were made in 1888, and they were filled with they were metal tires filled with air and had a rubber lining. And this was the beginning of the pneumatic tires. And of course, they were first seen in the public in Paris. But the treaded tire was introduced in 1905. And they say that the rubber particulate in the air is what is causing our glaciers to melt. The jet stream and the way the earth spins, the particles accumulate in the ice caps, and we all know what happens when rubber's heated by the sun. It's very hot. I am shocked at what's going on right now, and I really don't know what to do, because I feel like I'm caught between a rock and a hard place. Oh, I want to save people's kids for tomorrow and for the future, and I don't have any myself. But I know that right now we are implementing things in these provinces that are detrimental to us and our growth. They are taking away our freedom slowly by implementing these brain microchips that are inducing these audio hallucinations, interior and exterior. They are also allowing a private security service to take over all of our provinces. I already see it right here in Kirkland Lake, where I know that Ontario Provincial police officers are driving around in these private security cars. I am shocked at the fact that policing for the longest time has been put forward to us as a respectable position, something to honor and respect, to protect property and to protect the citizens from bad things happening. But what has happened is in 2010 or 2011, they allowed us to be infiltrated by these brain microchips. And they have been desensitizing and exposing our police officers to things that they should never be exposed to. Extreme violence, intimidation, coercion, those types of things. And over the last 5 or 6 years, what they've done is weeded out our officers. They've we have a huge issue with suicide amongst OPP officers in Ontario and across Canada. All policing services are suffering from good men who are committing suicide. And I believe that it is due to the fact that they are knowledgeable of the technology and they can't live with it. They can't live with the guilt that they are hurting other people. So they commit suicide to ensure that their families move on and progress through life without harassment, because we all know that peer-on-peer bullying within these systems is a huge issue as well. What this has done is it has made our police militant. It has made them it has created an environment where danger can breed very fast. When you allow people with narcissistic tendencies or psychopathic tendencies to wear a badge and a gun, things can get out of hand very fast. And that seems to be the direction that we're heading. You see all kinds of things happening out there where people are being attacked. People are doing things that are extremely violent and detrimental to our communities and our police and the public. And they are just off-the-wall things that should never happen. We know that there's going to be a huge race very soon for water and minerals in Canada. We know that the ice is melting fast, and the ocean levels are going to rise. In the 1960s, when we started to talk about global warming, Pierre Trudeau was in office then. I know, it's awful. It's hard to think of. It's hard to think of because I love my country, I love my province, and I love being where I am. But I'm also at a point where I'm tired of watching people roam the streets sick. I'm tired of watching good young people, their minds gone, talking to themselves at bus stops, wandering around committing crimes, hurting people, hurting themselves, fueled by a system of drugs and other substance abuses that simply ruin their lives. I'm tired of seeing families torn apart. I'm tired of children being fed into a system that doesn't really care. Some people say that we need this shift, that this shift is inevitable, that there's nothing that we can do to stop this shift. If we don't stop this shift, we lose our freedom. But not only do we lose our freedom, we lose our ability to think for ourselves. We lose the ability to create art and music. We lose the ability to to gather in groups and communities and celebrate. We lose the ability to teach and pass on information and teachings from one generation to the next, which means we lose everything that we've lived and loved up to date. But what we also lose is the ability to sit by ourselves by the lake somewhere and to ponder. You know, we're going to lose the ability to fish and canoe. We are going to lose the ability to do a lot of things, because I believe that they're trying to herd us into urban centers or places where we are all funneled together in such a way that they can keep track of us very easily. There's something definitely brewing that that has a really stank odor to it. I don't understand why it's happening, other than the fact that there are rich resources coming available in the north, and it's going to be like the Wild West again. What I do know is that our North Atlantic and that our Alaskan seas are some of the coldest and productive waters in the world. I know that the Gulf of Mexico is decimated. I know that their way of life down in that area, for generations now, people have lived there and have fished and have lived off the ocean, and they can't do it anymore. I'm really worried, because if we allow these big industries to come up into our North Seas and something happens like what happened with BP, that we won't make it very far after that. That there won't be much left. And we all know that no matter what they tell us as far as their regulation, as far as their environmental stringency, as far as their safety features are put in place, that there's never a guarantee that things are not going to blow up. And do we let them do that? Do we let them just walk over us? Plow over us? And do as they wish? For a very long time now, in the United States of America, they have been, the First Amendment has been something that has been first and foremost a privilege to them, as far as they see their ability to bear arms, and any kind of arms. But it's created issues in cities where people are completely segregated from one another. And each one of these segregated communities, whether they are black, whether they are white, whether they are Hispanic, whether they are Chinese, Japanese, it doesn't matter. They all come with their own problems. We have crack on the streets, we got drugs on the streets, we have all of these things infiltrating our communities and causing our children and your children and your families to fight each other. It's created a lot of havoc, a lot of mayhem, And it is kept the system going round and round and round. But I also know that in Canada, in 1995, we implemented a gun registry law to take all of our guns away from us and to register them. I know that our policing have, in many ways, no matter what crime you've committed, they have taken your guns away and given you a 10-year ban on any weapons. Now, our Charter of Rights and Freedoms in Canada states that if we are being oppressed as well, that we should be able to fight back. That we should be able to stand up and fight for ourselves. And fight for our communities and fight for what we believe in if we are being oppressed. But this time, I don't think we're going to have a chance to do that. Because I believe that we will be, that the technology that they are using in this experimental phase, they said what was supposed to do is draw lines and create the language in between this telepathic transference, and it would build the language back and forth, back and forth. But you know what? I don't see it as that. They say that they can scroll back in your mind, but I don't think that's possible either. I just think that we make associations through our senses that bring us back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So it's like filling in a piece of film, a little bit here, a little bit there, jump from here, jump from there, and the image appears on the film. And then they're able to scroll back and look and see what's going on. But I also believe that they're able to see through our eyes, hear what we hear, feel what we feel, smell what we smell. I believe that they're able to print images in our minds that sometimes you don't want to see. I believe that they, like I said, are inducing mental illness. They are harassing people to the point of suicide. They know that cognitive suggestion is real. That if you heighten the anxiety, stress, and fear factor, and you keep it sustained for long periods of time, that you can snap, you know? And then they have control. You end up committing crimes that you don't even remember you commit, and then you may be either in a provincial system or in a federal system for a long period of time. I also believe that if they blindside you and you don't know what's going on, then your mental health fails completely, and your reality changes, and you submit to what's going on. The other thing that fears me is that the only other thing that this creates is radicalism. It forces us into a state of radicalization where if we are backed into a corner, we come out swinging and fighting for our lives, which may in turn hurt a lot of others around us, because we don't understand what's going on in our minds. All we know is that something is happening and we can't explain what it is. And we don't understand what it is. Well, I understand what it is. I've been going through it's been almost 10 years now. But for the last 1,102 days, I've been under siege. I've been through about 220,000 hours of accumulated bombardment. It has been painstaking. It has been some of the most ruthless, crazy bombardment that I have ever experienced. Excuse that noise. That's actually happening underneath my house, from the house next door, which I have pointed out a million times to people that this is happening in my home, that I've been placed under siege because of a discrimination that happened at work. But it just so happened that the people that were using the technology for the mental health aspect of it, in inducing mental health, have approached my employers, and they have worked out something to, how would you say, cover up what has happened to me with my employer, or for the company that we were employed with. That's a part of it, and I've been trying to tell people that for almost 3 years now, and nobody's listening. I have had my privacy breached in the most sensitive areas. The CSA, and I have also been duped, and I have been neglected by the cmha, the Canadian Mental Health Association. But if they are inducing, then I haven't been neglected at all. I'm actually kind of happy that they did neglect me. We need to do something before it's too late. There are a lot of really good officers out there that have lost their lives, that have no accountability to their families for what has happened. And there's a reason for that. I believe it's because of the knowledge of the technology that they have been exposed to. I don't think it's fair that we've been lied to for years about everything that they have been telling us is real. You know, carbon dioxide gas in the atmosphere is going to increase. We have always had this receding and progression of the ice caps. That is a natural progression that is going to take place regardless of what we do. But we definitely haven't helped that issue out at all. Our oceans are in trouble, but our water is going to be the most important commodity on this earth very soon. And Ontario has 2/3 of the world's water. I can't let this pass without trying to tell somebody what's going on, because I believe that in a couple generations from now, we're setting you're setting your kids up for failure. You're going to set them up with technology in a world that is going to be mechanical. They won't be able to think for themselves. Heaven forbid they should think for themselves. And if they do, they will know right away. And then the persecution will begin. they 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 know that once they implement these chips, that there'll be, if it's power and control, it's full control and domination. And if we do not like the situation we're in, there's no fighting it. There's no fighting it at all. They'll know if we want to assemble. They will know if we're seeking, if we are fighting oppression and we want to fight back. They will know before we even get the chance to set up shop, you know. And that's unfair for us, because the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedom says that we have the right to be, and the ability to do that. But we have been left like sitting ducks up here in Canada. We have literally been left like sitting ducks up here in Canada with no weapons, no anything, while all the citizens in the United States of America have all the weapons they want. And now we are in a transitional phase, because this security company is a worldwide security company. And it says in their ad that they are able to detect crime before it happens. How do you detect crime before it happens? Obviously, you have technology that we don't know about, that we are not aware of. As well, on the back of every weed packaging product or marijuana packaging product, it says may induce audio hallucinations. Every weed product, from the smoke, from the inhalables to the edibles to you name it, it is all marked with audio hallucinations. And I know that they are not real. I know that they are induced. What are they doing to us? And why? And why? Control? Power? Money? We need to stop thinking about profit. We need to stop thinking about power. We need to begin thinking about tolerance, cooperation, right? About sharing, loving, giving, and making sure that we take care of one another. I know we can make it through the future, whatever it's going to be, we can make it through. But what we don't need is to weed out our population in such a way that that is only going to create more animosity for people in the future. It's because of our borders. It's because of our languages, our barriers in our languages. It's our borders. It's all of those things that create all of the fights that we have between one another, whether it's our countries, whether it's our provinces, whether it's from our fences in our yards. So it's all borders, right? We can't live like this anymore. We should have never lived like this to begin with.